welcome back to another live stream. So today we are going to be building a Pacific battle. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to take place, but I already have a sort of model I'm going to be going off of. So basically what I have here is a basic idea for sort of a bunker system. So I'm going to have this bunker at an angle, and I'm going to place it somewhere in there. And I think it's just going to look really good. Now I'm going to get on my other account and just try to log in here real quick. But yeah, this is just a really cool technique, and I was very inspired by the Brick Crew when he made his video on Pacific, and it just really inspired me to do something very similar. So I'm just gonna get on in there and start it off. I didn't actually make an announcement about this, so I'm not sure about the turnout. There's not a great turnout though, it's fine. I've always done worse. One viewer, and that one viewer is me for right now. I wouldn't be surprised if RTH hops on at some point. I know that he's always a pretty big fan of these streams, at least recently. But you never know with these. Okay. What is up, RTW? You're nice and early to one of these. I'm building a Pacific bunker scene here, so pretty excited for this one. It should be a whole bunch of fun. Now, what I'm going to do first off is I need to figure out exactly where I'm going to position this whole bunker system. So I'm going to do that real quick. Hold up. I'm dropping pieces rapidly. Okay, that's good. Yeah, finally not late. Better late than never, but yeah, I'm glad you're here. Normally don't have people here so early, but it's sort of good. Not sort of good, it's really good. Shoot, do I have like anything that I could place as filler there? I'm gonna have to do something. Hold up. I'm already running into issues here. I'm not going to be using some of these brown parts, so I might as well just use them as filler. Look decent. And this is just to get a basic idea down. So I'm going to do something like that over there, and something like this on the other side. Okay. Now I'm going to get all this ready. So I'm going to need some filler. Oh, alright. Already a like, so thank you guys. You've just started off already going pretty well. Maybe I'm speaking too soon though. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this one. I sort of like just came up with the idea, but that happens pretty often on these. I hardly ever have an idea or a really good idea going into these. Again, just I kind of wanted to show you guys something. I did just get a new thing on top of here, so I have two of these now, and that's really cool. Hello, Tyrion. I'm building a Battle of the Pacific mock based off of one of my favorite builders, the Brick Crew. It's basically a World War II build. I really just like how these look, so it was very inspiring after I watched that video. I think RTW saw it too, and he was just in here. 2 likes. Thank you guys so much. Alright, and this is going to go right in the middle, about there, I believe. and then that. So that's the basic bunker position. Now I just got to figure out how I'm going to do all of this. So I need to grab out some of these pieces, place them in. Okay. And do something like that. Okay, I'm liking how it's looking so far. You know what, I might have to take this out because I do want to make like a wall in here. So it's going to be a little bit hard to do that. Oh, thanks for subbing. Appreciate it. This is going really well so far. And if nothing else really happens during this stream, at least I got another sub, so thank you. Okay, so I'm going to do something like that. That's going to be where the bunker is, so I need to sort of frame this out. That does work. Shoot, because I'm going to have a door in here, so I need to figure out how I can add in some parts without messing up the connectivity of the studs. That probably works. And I can just have the door. Yeah, no, that's going to work. Now I just need to fill in the rest with some plates. And it should be all good. I'll be back. All right, nice. See you then. All right, now I'm just going to try to find some pieces in here. This is the tedious part because I just reorganized all of my parts and now I have just so many things in my part collection. It'll all come at some point though, I'll find it. Okay, take that out. Just start placing in some parts. And that actually finishes up very nicely. Okay, so that's where the bunker is going to be. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to position all this. Okay. I really like this angle approach that I saw in his video, the Brick Crew. I think it really does look pretty incredible. Has some really good effects on a build. And yeah, I think it's just really cool. Alright, I'm gonna have to find a specific piece in here. Specifically that I just found it. Oh, that actually that fits almost perfectly. That's really good. I wasn't expecting it to fit so nicely. Alright, we are at 1 viewer. So I guess my peak was at the beginning. Normally about halfway through at the 30-minute mark, I have a pretty big rush, but sometimes nothing happens with that. You never know though, maybe I'll be surprised. I don't really care, as long as I'm having fun while building, and sometimes I'm very much not having fun while I'm building. Okay. I'm not sure how much I like that. Might do something like this and find a specific part in here. Maybe something like that. I think that's pretty good. I like it. Alright, just grabbing out a couple more parts in here. And Okay, I think I actually am gonna try to replicate this to the other side and do something similar with that. And that sort of creates a smooth barrier, making some distinguishable parts here. We are at 4 viewers, nice. It's about my average during these, so that's good. Okay. So, what am I gonna do here? This bunker system is sort of complicated, but I'm not gonna worry about the main bunker right now. I'm gonna work on this road. So I need to fill in some filler plates. Oh, forgot to show. I have 2 Marines and 1 Japanese minifig. He's going to be actually in these trenches, maybe trying to fire from the side or something. Maybe running to get in position. I might change his weapon too, but I really like these Marine figs with these new printed legs that I got. And this Japanese kepi, you can see there, it's printed, but doesn't really show up too well on camera. Anyways, I need to throw in some more parts here, so I'm going to throw that in, just sort of square off this whole area. Now what I'm going to do later is I'm going to throw in some maybe green, like brighter green parts, and I have these palm trees that I'm going to be throwing in to create a more dense atmosphere, make it feel a little bit more hidden, this whole bunker system. What's up, SMG? I'm building a Pacific type build based off of the Brick Crew's new video. I really liked it, and it just sort of inspired me to create something similar. So I have this whole angled trench system going on. I already built that. Now I'm just sort of working on squaring it off. My voice changed. Puberty. I've also been getting a whole bunch more pimples. Sort of what happens. Can't complain too much. Also, I might be a little bit more nasally, so could also be the explanation. Alright. Now I put that down there. I need to work out a sort of pathway that these guys are going to be going along. I had some tan parts in here that I could try to figure out how to make a sort of splotch of tan in here. I think that would look pretty good. If I can just find the correct parts in here, that would be great, but probably not. Oh, that actually works. Okay. So I'm going to throw that in. I'm just trying to figure this out before I even go too far with this. I'm going to add in some of the filler now. I wonder when Big J is going to start streaming again. I bet he probably quit. His last stream was like glitching or something. Or Stake banned him from Roblox. So, not great. I just find it kind of funny sometimes the clickbait he's able to pull off. Everybody like and sub so that Stake unbans me. I've been saying there's something wrong with that Stake fella. You know what really bugs me about people like that? They make those shorts where they're like, oh, if you make a short, I'm going to like and comment. But, you know they never do that. I feel like if you even say something like that, you should follow through on your promise. But maybe I'm the crazy one here. It's just sort of something that irks me the wrong way. I never actually, like, do any of that stuff, but I see people do it, and I can't help but feel bad. Because, like, I know, at least, that they're never gonna say anything. They're never gonna get the attention that they wanted. Yeah, it's a beautiful day today up here. I actually ran out to the store. Me and my friends are going to have a campfire tonight. Went and got some soda. It's nice. Haven't hung out with them too much, but I don't know. Everybody's on vacation. It's summer. Can't blame them. Oh, 11 viewers. That's nice. Welcome on in. Building a Pacific Warmock. Yeah, but as I was saying, I think it's just sort of real fun to hang out with my friends because, believe it or not, I'm actually headed off to high school. So we're all sort of going our separate ways. And I'm just going to add in a couple more parts here. Just trying to fit some more pieces in. Of course, this is sort of the ugly part of the builds, but I think it's sort of fine. Again, I'm not sure if everybody can, like, hear me fine on this thing. I always look back at my streams and I'm, like, cringing because I can't even hear myself. Alright, and then just one more layer. We got a pretty solid base for this, and it's very sturdy. I do sort of like how I carved out the sides of the border. It really makes it feel like the border sort of bends around the mock, and I really like that. It's a really cool effect. Wasn't really planning on it, but there was really no other way to make a trench where you could actually see what was going on. Okay, so now this is going to go in here. That doesn't look quite right. Hold up. I have to move it a little over. Yeah, no, that's gonna have to work. I think it looks pretty good. Now I just need to add that in, and I'm gonna grab all my parts, my dark, shoot, I just absolutely brain farted. My dark gray, my dark tan parts. Jeez, what am I doing? I'm losing it. Sometimes I just babble my head off on these streams, and I don't actually mind that because I can't, like, tell you guys too much, but I feel like it's sort of cool to share with my audience some things going on in my life. Of course, no type of face reveal or anything, but alright, hold up. I don't really want to do that. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm looking for a very specific part in here. Alright. Staying around my average here, so that's all good. Do I really not have that part? Gosh darn it. Alright, I am gonna have to spill this out. It's really bugging me. And of course, right when I spill it out, I find it. There it is. Okay, back in the bin. Sort of the problem with this. gonna go ahead and do that. Moving some stuff around. Yes, this whole sort of closet studio was a pretty big mess before I actually cleaned it up, but this weekend I decided, since I have this new storage unit, I should probably spruce this place up a bit, so went ahead and cleaned it a little. It's also more presentable if any of my friends come over, but I think it actually looks really nice now, so I might actually post a picture or something, but you guys have a pretty good idea of what my setup looks like, my main setup. But I have like so many vehicles and minifigs in my other area. Oh, that's 0. That must be a glitch on my other device because that's bad. And I at least have one viewer at all times. Okay. I'm gonna have to throw in some of these because I don't want to just make it a flap. No, I wouldn't throw it in there. It's probably not a good idea. Because I'm going to try to sort of have a slanted green path going this way. So I might put one there because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to keep that more barren. I think that's pretty good. Need to find another couple of parts in here. Okay. Just grabbing all the parts in here, trying to make it look all natural. The thing with the ground is you don't want to make it too smooth. You want to find a balance. And you also just don't want to have it be all studs. So that's sort of one of the things that I struggle with when I'm building these, finding that balance. Because it's not the same for every sort of texture, for every sort of area. It's always a little bit different, it seems like. That's in my experience, though, personally. Now I'm going to add some of those in. Grab some different parts in here. Alright, again, just grabbing a couple of parts and throwing them in. Oh, just dropped it. Sorry. Nothing new in chat for a little while now, but that's fine. Stream's going pretty well, so not the stream, but the build's going pretty well. Okay, something over there. I think I did find the balance this time. I actually quite like the sort of balance. Now, if it looks pretty barren right now, that's because I haven't added all the green. So you'll just have to bear with me for a little bit as I try to fill some of that in. I do like that. I think that looks pretty good. And I really like this splotch of white tan in there. I think that adds a little bit of good texture to it. Also, mock needs some pretty good texture. That's what I found. Yeah, not much going on in chat, but that's alright. Again, just trying to find a balance in here. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to have like all these different parts and stuff like that, but I might just have like a splotch spreading out over here. The sooner I finish this, the sooner I'll figure that out, but sort of planning ahead and I probably don't need to. No, that looks fine. think it's all right. That's good. Okay, now that we got all the tan done, I'm gonna put those up there. Move over my palm trees. And now I need to get out some of my green plates in here. If I can find some of those. Okay, I'm gonna actually dump all these out because I'm looking for some specific parts here. And those are actually pretty darn perfect. So I'm just gonna go around here and add some of those in wherever I need to. And maybe something that doesn't quite work there. All right, hold up. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna actually do all this. It's sort of an important step in this whole operation. That works there. Okay, that can go there. Maybe something like that. And then I'm gonna finish it up with something over here. If I can find a perfect piece for that. And I could just round it off again, but I mean, that actually looks pretty good. I'm not too mad about that. Now I just need to find all of these different green pieces that'll actually fit in there. I think that'll work there. That doesn't quite work. And those don't really work for anything else. So I might just have that actually like taper off over there as well. I think that could look pretty good. Just have a couple of splotches of this dark tan. And I could do something like that. I'm not sure though. I kind of like how it could just like taper off over there. Huh. Starting to wonder. Alright, we are at 5 viewers, so that's nice. I don't exactly have the right pieces for this. Which is kind of infuriating, because I really like the idea of this. My execution is sort of the problem here. Okay. I should probably reinforce that, so I'll do that real quick. Take my mind off of the rest of this. Something in there. Yeah, okay, that'll work. I'm not using white in this either, so I can use some of these as sort of filler. Okay, I like it. That works. That doesn't exactly work, so... Yeah, it's just like, I know that I can figure out something here, but I'm trying to figure out, because I can't fit this in. Unless I, like, move it up a little, which I don't particularly want to do. It's curious problem. Okay. Wait, those are two opposite ones, so one of these reasonably should fit there. Okay. Using some deduction skills here to figure out. I think I have like a pretty equal amount of these pieces, but it just doesn't exactly feel like it. Okay, I could have that go back to there. Actually, I really like that. That could work. Just moving some parts down here. And again, if I just had like... I need like a perfect piece here, and I don't have that. This is actually so annoying. Could have like all the right pieces, but I just don't happen to have them. Alright, that'll have to work. It's gonna have to be like a straight-ish road, which I actually don't mind too much. I was trying to incorporate some different sort of terrain in here, but, well, not exactly terrain, but different shaping. Just that it's not a big old boring road, but I guess that's what it's gonna have to be. Throw something in there. Throw some more stuff on. Something in there. And something in there. Okay. I'm gonna do that. That. And that. Alright, that's all good. That actually is a fake Lego piece. I'm gonna take that off. Should not be using the fake Lego. Not a good idea. I'm just not a big fan of fake Lego. I mean, I get that it's cheaper and more affordable, but I think I said this before, if I can afford it, I'm just going to go for the more expensive stuff just because I think it looks better. And I feel better knowing that I'm posting the best stuff that I can. And that is better. Alright. So, I need to figure out where I'm going to put these palm trees. Maybe something like that and that. Then I'm going to have some grass and stuff in front of it. Now I just need to work on this actual bunker. So I'm going to figure out something here. Just grabbing some of these parts. Again, just grabbing some of these parts, throwing them in. And that is the base of the bunker. So we're going to have a door probably around here. I need to figure out how exactly I'm going to do that. But before I do any of that, I need to figure out actually how I'm going to make this sort of area. Alright. So I'm going to make a mess of things again, like I always do, but I'm going to try to clean it up this time. I need to find a specific part in here, something like that, but I'm going to raise it up a little. And that does actually even it out because I had it a little bit wrong before. So now we gotta just even it out on all sides. Very insightful. Yeah, I went to a family friend's house and my parents were like showing them my channel, and one of them said I'm like the Bob Ross of Lego building. I kind of like it, but I would definitely not put myself on that level. You know, it's also just adults saying stuff, trying to make you feel good, which no doubt it did. It felt pretty darn good to be called the Bob Ross of Lego. Okay. Just getting some plates to smooth it all out, and I put it in the wrong way, which is great. Okay. That's better. Yeah, no chats for like around 30 minutes, so mildly concerning, but I'm not too bothered. Again, doesn't quite matter too much to me as long as people are actually enjoying this stuff. Okay. Okay, something like this. I'll copy it over to the other side again. Yeah, I'm really happy with this idea. I really like how it's turning out so far. And I'm not even done yet, so I'm excited. I just need to replicate this to the other side. Put in some parts. Right. I mean, I could just swap them for like some regular brick parts. I might actually just do that. Because that actually saves some of my valuable pieces. Okay. So now we have that, and what I want to do after is I want to find some of these slanted. All right. I separated like all of these. I used to have them all in one big bin, but I separated them. So now I keep thinking that I'm going for just one single bin with all of them, but I am not. And I do sort of like that. I think I might want to tighten it up a little, so make the opening a little bit smaller. And that actually looks really good. I like that angling. I'm a pretty big fan of that. Okay. I think that actually looks pretty darn good. Now I gotta work on some type of firing mechanism because I'm gonna, well, not mechanism. I'm gonna have some type of barrel shooting out the middle. If I can even find the right pieces for that. Okay, now something like that. I'm gonna try to get a machine gun or like something that looks similar to one in there. Maybe something like that. I sort of like how that looks from the side. It looks a little bit wonky from just the interior, but I think that'll work fine. Unless I do have any other parts, I'm gonna look around real quick. I mean, yeah, nothing that I can see that would work better. So it's probably about as good as I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna try to find some of these nice pieces here for some differentiation here. Shoot. Okay, I'm gonna probably actually just throw something like this in and put something on top. I'm not going to use any bricks there. They're too valuable. Okay. And I just dropped it. You know, I said like I had an abundance of parts before. Like I just reorganized and found a whole bunch. I don't really. I don't have that many. It's just like, it's like a small collection. I don't have a lot of parts though. Okay, I'm thinking I might actually have like a real machine gun in here. Something to think about. And then I might just put like something like that. I mean, like, I like how that looks, but it's just too angled. I'm gonna find something better in here. The thing I liked about that one is you can actually put a muzzle flash at the end. It's also angled. That's not as angled, but the problem is it's got that protruding part. I'm gonna find something. Hold up. Give me a second. Man, I have so many parts that I'm just putting everywhere. Okay, there it is. Give me a second. I'm not too worried because nobody's really chatting right now. I'm not even sure who's still on. Okay. Just give me a second. That could work. I mean, I like it, but it might just be a little bit too tall again. It's a problem I'm having with almost every single one of these. Would that? Oh, that actually might work. Lewis gun. That works a little bit better. Marginally better. Hold up. I'm gonna angle this plate actually a little so that it's facing more towards that, but that actually works pretty darn good. And it's very easy to stick a muzzle flash on the end of that. Oh, this is such like a complicated thing. Sort of a pain to deal with, but I think it'll look cool at the end, so it's all worth it. Okay. I think that actually looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna call it there. Don't wanna do too much for this. Put that back. Yeah, I do like how that looks. It's actually a machine gun sticking out of there. So I'm gonna replicate this to the other side, and once again, I'm gonna even it out just a little. Just a little touch. Shoot. Okay. I also have a couple of these like protruding brick pieces. I have like one of these grayish ones, so I'm gonna add that in there. I actually could probably do like a dark tannish on one of these. And I think that actually looks pretty good. Adds some variation, which is probably much needed in this. I might actually add another brick piece here, and then just add some pieces and stuff like that. Okay. And that should be all good otherwise. Now I'm gonna add a part in. Okay. I need it a little bit higher, and then I can add a door and finish this off. So I'm gonna shoot. I just had out my Great. Oh, I just stacked a whole bunch of them on the floor. All right. That's besides the point. Okay. I'm going to put that back in there so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Now just putting that down, putting that. Okay. I'm not sure if that dude who subscribed is going to be right back, because we're almost 3/4 of the way through this. He is not here yet. Doesn't really matter too much though. I'm doing pretty good, making pretty good progress on this whole thing. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna put something over the top here. And that's a pretty convincing, in my opinion, Japanese bunker. Okay. And if I place that in there, I think it's pretty well concealed. And I think I really do like the angle. I think after I add some foliage, this is just gonna really come to life. But I'm gonna try to add in a couple of angles in here, make it look nice. So add some to the front. And then just have some on the sides too. I might just do it all the way around if I do have the parts, but if not, I'm probably just gonna do something else at the end. Okay, so I have all the pieces that I need. Now I just need one more, which I could actually make it look like one of the edges of this got blown off or something. Maybe a little bit worn down. And I think that would actually look pretty good. Also, given the fact that I just lack the piece that I need. It's a decent solution. Something like that. And finally, finishing touch on there. I think that actually looks pretty good. Shows that kind of got ripped apart. Now, do something like that. And then I'm going to throw something in the middle. Something like that. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're probably not able to see most of this, but it's a fun process. Sometimes I can't catch it all on camera. It's a long process too. Seems like way more than an hour when I'm doing these, but okay. So we got that in there, and I think that actually looks really good. I like how it sort of blends in with its surroundings, but it's going to blend in a lot more when I actually build it out. So we have that all there. I'm going to grab a couple of parts, throw them over there. Okay, throw the rest of these over. Now it's onto the foliage. And they had a lot of different plants in here, so I'm going to try to find some that I don't normally use. maybe stack some up right around there. I think I'm gonna have like a little bush sort of in here. I think that would look pretty good. And then I'm gonna probably throw another one there. So that's pretty covered. Maybe just a little bit of grass around these trees. Find a couple of these different bush pieces in here, because I know that these different sort of... Oh yeah, I think that really looks pretty good. I like that. I think it blends in real nice. Yeah, we are approaching the 10-minute mark, so I think I'm pretty happy with this so far. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Again, just trying to get some of these pieces in here. Okay. I'm probably gonna, again, add some like little bushes and stuff like that. I'm gonna actually put some of these bushes in first, just to sort of get some ideas ready. Now I'm just gonna repeat the process over here again. And then finally, throw one of these on top, maybe doing something like that. Now, I love having a whole bunch of these leaf pieces because it means I can like do different stuff like this, mess around with it a little. And it creates some pretty organic looking bushes, and I like it. Maybe I'll just leave it like that for that one at least. And then near the bunker, I'm gonna have another one. Yeah, I didn't have exactly a rush at the halfway point, or at least I didn't see any chats, so. Wasn't a great stream in terms of chatters. I think I might have gotten like 4, which actually surprisingly isn't too bad for one of these. Oh, you're back, nice. Yeah, I am about done with this. I just need to put in some foliage, so putting that in right now. I really like these little leaf pieces that I'm putting in. I think they really add something to every build that I do. Thank you, appreciate it. Nobody's been chatting for like 40 minutes. Basically, like, a couple people came in after you left. And then it just sort of stopped. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the build, so I don't really mind it too much. The thing that really sucks is if I have a bad build and a bad stream. That's one combo that I never like. And then I'm going to add some stuff here. Okay. I do like that. I could add some, like, maybe something like that in. Right there. I really like that. I think that looks pretty good. And before it's too late, I do need to position some American figs. So I'm going to put all these back up. Worry about that. maybe a little bit later. I might not even do that because I think this looks pretty perfect and I don't want to overcomplicate it. The dense foliage sort of covers up the Japanese position. These Americans don't even know that they're walking straight into an ambush. Or maybe they do. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, but overall, I think it's a pretty good mock. Now, actually, no. One more finishing touch. I need to add in a burst of fire coming from the Japanese sort of base. And I think that basically completes it. I really like how it looks. I might want to reposition this Japanese minifig, but that's just about it for this one. We are in the last about 3 minutes, so I can add in some other details, but otherwise I don't think really adding much is going to do anything because it's just sort of pretty good as it is right now. So I might add some sandbags on the top. See how I sort of like that. I might like put it all around the sides too. And I think I actually really do like that. So I could also put like some leaves or something. And I think that would also look pretty darn good. I really like that. I think that's pretty darn good. I might even take off that those leaves because I'm not sure how I feel about them. But overall, pretty incredible mock. I like how it turned out. Like the Japanese position, I might add some stuff to that at some point, but overall, pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's exactly what I was going for. Yeah, you know what? Before I even end this stream, I don't want to do any more work, so I'm just taking that off. It doesn't add anything to it. But that's about it. So thank everybody who joined, especially you RTW. I know I don't see you too much around on these live streams, but thank you for coming in. And I appreciate you guys for liking this stream,